Welcome to the International Short Course in Advanced Physics being conducted by KJ Somaiya College of Science and Commerce. I am Dr. Puneet Kumar from the Department of Physics, University of Lucknow. As we have earlier talked about the plasma physics, the fundamentals of plasma physics, the kinds of plasma sources available, and the plasmas available for application in medicine. This is the final module, submodule for application of plasma in medicine. The outline of this talk will be we'll be talking about microbial deactivation, biofilms, tumor treatment, disinfection, wound healing, diabetic ulcers, and the advantages of plasma over other techniques. We start with the microbial deactivation. If bacteria are in a liquid, neither electrons nor ions can interact directly with the surface of the bacteria, since these electrons or ions are strongly absorbed by the liquid when passing through the gas-liquid interface. Additionally, a wet environment provides excellent living and growing conditions for microorganisms. Plasma-induced ultraviolet radiation and reactive species, including reactive oxygen species and nitrogen species, penetrate the liquid and react with the microorganism. One study found that plasma-treated phosphate buffered saline inhibited cell growth in a treatment line dependent manner, showing a linear correlation with the solution's H2O2 concentration, which remained stable over several weeks. Furthermore, the predominant bacterial inactivation mechanism for non-thermal plasma is the induction of oxidative stress. Radiative species from the plasma are disseminated such that they damage bacterial cells. The positive charged ions are bulky compared to electrons, and as such, they drag ambient gas molecules, causing a net gas flow in and around the plasma channels along their direction of movement, which is termed as electric wind. The electric wind facilitated the transport of the reactive species by convection. This can be applied to disinfection of plastic surfaces, which is an important applications around hospitals. Plasma inactivation has several benefits such as low temperature, low toxicity, high efficiency, and low cost. This is how it enters into the DNA and destroys the DNA of the microorganisms. The biofilms. Biofilms represent an aggregation of microbes embedded within a protective carbohydrate matrix, which allows adhesion to a host surface, stabilization of biofilm architecture, maintenance of nutrients, and protection against antimicrobial agents and the host immune response. Reactive species from plasma causes cell damage or death through dehydration, membrane lysis, and damage to DNA, lipid, and proteins. In addition, the plasma plume can reach sites normally inaccessible to other antimicrobial methods. All plasma-treated biofilms showed significant log reduction, alterations in both microorganism and biofilm morphology, and reduced viability. Furthermore, fluorescence microscopy revealed the presence of ROS in all plasma-treated biofilms, and histology showed neither signs of necrosis nor signs of alteration in plasma-treated epithelium. Bacterial biofilms represent a significant source of human infections. This includes hospital environments and medical equipment. Biofilms are complex microbial communities closed in hydrated extracellular polymeric substances composed of polysaccharides, proteins, phospholipids, and nucleic acids. Plasma clearly inactivated the four bacteria biofilms and has the ability to penetrate and destroy bacterial cells within the complex biofilm structure. And that is why it is used in sterilization in the hospitals. We will show you a device which is being used for such purpose. The tumor treatment. Many groups have worked with good success using plasma to treat cancer cells such as oral squamous cell carcinoma, pancreatic cancer cells, squamous head and neck cancer, gastric cancer, skin cancer, colon, and multiple myeloma. Breast cancer cells, glioblastoma cells were also treated successfully, although breast cancer cells were found to be more vulnerable to plasma. One study found that a plasma dose is more cytotoxic with higher apoptosis in cancer versus normal cells when comparing prostate cancer cells and normal prostate cells. As a confirmation, a further study showed that plasma treatment dissolved in a liquid induces oxidative stress in heterogeneous populations of cancer cells and ultimately kills the cancers via apoptosis, regardless of genetic status. The liquid plasma markedly increases the concentration of intracellular and mitochondrial ROS due to an influx from the extracellular milieu. In healthy normal cells were only minimally affected by the plasma treatment. Nanoparticles were unable to plasma nuclear membranes, so accumulation around the nucleus in the cytoplasm. The mechanism of how nanoparticles increase cell death is not yet understood. The study concluded that nanothermal plasma is a cost-effective tool, local, rapid, and low chirurgical damage treatment. This is the mechanism. Like a PhD talked about hospital disinfectant. So this is a kind of a device that you can use for disinfecting. A system was constructed to treat hospitals' mattresses to reduce the patient infections. The system uses a dielectric barrier discharge to generate plasma and radicals, which are pumped into the mattress enclosure. Of 20 mattresses treated with plasma, 60% had no positive culture results, while in the chemical disinfected group, 100% had at least two positive cultures. This is a kind of device which is, all the beds are exposed to this, and the surfaces exposed to this device are disinfected by the plasma exposure. The application to wound healing. The plasma used in wound treatment inhibits microbes and the chronic wound by its antiseptic effects and promotes healing by stimulation of cell proliferation. Chronic wounds that fail to heal are often infected by multi-drug resistant organisms, including MRSA. An effective wound healing environment would include the following: the moist wound bed, effective oxygen circulation to aid regenerating cells and tissues, low bacterial load, and lack of immunogenicity. Most systemic antibodies have poor tissue penetration and no effect of wounds since the blood vessels may be compromised and no antibiotic is actually delivered. The likely explanation for this is that cutaneous blood flow and oxygen saturation can be improved in human skin from plasma treatment, mostly from the effects of ROS in addition to the electric field and UV, which may also have an impact. Plasma is effective in the complete inactivation of even antibiotic resistant bacteria with a 9 log reduction achieved with 10 to 90-minute treatment depending on the bacteria and plasma system configuration. The non-thermal nature of plasma supports the inactivation of bacteria while harmful to the cells and also potentially enhances healing. The diabetic ulcers. Plasma has potential to provide efficacious treatment for diabetic ulcers. Plasma therapy was tested for diabetic ulcers and induced rat mode experiments were run for 30 days wherein intermediate evaluation time points. Testing concluded that the following treatment groups: non-diabetic control and non-diabetic plasma treatment. You can see the difference. This is the diabetic and this is the type 1 diabetes and this is the type 2 diabetes. This is without plasma, this is plasma. You can see better results with the plasma treated ones in both the cases. Ultrasound, the ionizing radiation, and plasma compare. The ultrasound, ionizing radiation, and plasma have some commonalities. Reactive species produced when activated. OH has the potential to cancer cells, and each of three modalities show production of radicals. The diagrams below show the reactive oxygen species induced by each modality. These are the radiation, the second is the ultrasound, and the third one is the plasma. Osteointegration is a direct structural assimilation of bone to implant, important in orthopedics, joint replacement, trauma, and reconstructive surgery. And this is hypothesized to proceed by absorption of proteins which recruit the cells into the implant surface. The cellular adhesion is enhanced by manipulation of the implant surface properties to yield an accepting microenvironment on the implant surface. The plasma improves surface energy of implant surfaces by removal of debris or molecules that may have become absorbed during processing. Fungi, the plasma has been successful to treat fungus. Plasma species not only act as the surface of the substrates, thus reducing the microorganisms. Unlike bacteria, endotoxins and plant proteins are not living organisms and do not carry genetic material like such as DNA or RNA. The prions are extremely resistant to conventional sterilization procedures because of the unique and stable secondary and tertiary structures that cannot be easily altered. Some of the most serious pathogens are abnormal plant proteins, the principal factors for the transmission of Jacob diseases. Endotoxins are extremely resistant to heat and are not removed by conventional sterilization. With the application of plasma, however, it was found that plasma alone can kill bacterial spores with Sinks log reduction without toxic gas residues. Endotoxin with inactivation was achieved with more than 5 log reduction. Cornea. The human cornea located on the surface of the human eye is highly resistant to microbial invasion due to the integrity of the ocular surface and production of various antimicrobial peptides and proteins in the tear film. If the ocular surface is breached, the pathogens may invade the cornea, leading to the infectious keratitis and the potential for permanent loss of vision. Plasma has been found to be useful for tissue infection to kill microorganisms with affecting human cells. The next is the muscle regeneration. The skeletal muscle can repair tissue damage, but significant loss of muscles or chronic degeneration is difficult to restore. So the studies have been conducted, and it was concluded that plasma should be further investigated for use in regenerative medicine. The vaccine deactivation is another potential application of plasma, where plasma is used to inactivate a vaccine preparation. Plasma in the dental cavity had created revolutions. The sterilization procedures involved are better carried out with the use of plasma. And plasma needle is an efficient source of various radicals which are capable of bacterial decontamination. And using these plasma needles, the root canal treatment can be carried out in a single sitting. Apart from that, intraordeal diseases can be cured. You can see a root canal rigging procedure being performed using a plasma torch. Plasma can also be used in composite restorations. It increases the tensile shear bond strength between post and composite. Like a metal can be can be bounded with the teeth in a better way using plasma technology. Plasma can also be used in tooth bleaching. The tooth surface proteins can be noticeably removed using the plasma treatment. Other dental effects can also be carried out. And the merits of these are that it enables the dentist to perform procedures without shots and pain. It reduces and avoids the use of routinely placed painful and destructive drilling. Noiseless, painless cavity preparations would be a huge advantage, and it is safe to use. It operates at the room temperature and does not cause bulk destruction of it. But the tissue technique is highly sensitive. It does not work well in cases where restoration is present in the oral cavity. Cost of the equipment is also a concern, and plasma needle technology has a long way to go. And I end my talk with this, and I think that the three modules would have been I would have been successful in providing with the basic knowledge of plasma physics and highlighting the applications of plasma with its prospects in plasma research in future. So I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to interact with you all, and I wish you all a bright future. Thank you. And in case of any difficulty, you can approach me, and my email ID is given in the comment.